This is the Cybertruck, the Apple of cameras. It is the Sigma BF, and I don't know if you knew, but I love taking photos. I love capturing moments ever since I was a kid.
All aluminum silver version. There's also a black version. Today I'm gonna get into reviewing what it's like, my experience with it, taking photos.
I used to always do that, and I'm always trying to find the best, the coolest camera that can help me capture memories with friends, family, in a fun and unique way. And this camera just came out and it surprised me and shocked me. And I was like, I need to try it. So Sigma did let me borrow this lens. I did buy the body myself. I'm still waiting for lenses. It's taking forever. But today I'm gonna share all the things that I've learned shooting with this for the past few weeks, what my overall thoughts are, and if the Sigma BF is actually worth your money. Let's get into it. From a body perspective, this thing pops. The design, the style is extremely unique. It is one of a kind. It has no SD ports. The only thing that pops out is actually this battery right here, which I have this capture clip on it. I can't remove it. That's the only thing that comes in and out of this device. It is relatively small, but from a overall perspective, the amount of comments that I've gotten, the amount of people who have started conversations with me because I've had this camera is insane.
Yeah.
Let me research that.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
It's the Sigma BF. It's like all aluminum. Yeah, isn't it cool?
It is so sick. I've never seen a camera like that.
And that's probably the biggest value I've found in the Sigma BF is that it's a conversation starter. It's a piece to carry around to kind of showcase to people and be like, whoa, that is so cool. It's made of aluminum, I think, and it takes them 7 hours to build one of these. They can only make 9 per day. So I'm very lucky to be one of the first to have gotten one of these because they are rare and they're hard to acquire. From an actual usability function standpoint, how does it feel in my hand? So my hand is relatively large. If I try to grab it here, my hand wraps around. There is a spot for your thumb, but as you can see, my thumb length is the entire camera. I don't have a place to put my fingers on the bottom here, so these fingers kind of hang out. It's a bit harder to hold, but I love that it has this little nudge on the side here that really helps hold the camera. I love that it's very sleek, but it can be, it feels a bit sharp on these edges. Luckily, these edges are rounded, so that's much appreciated, but it's not the easiest thing to hold. So I did find they do have one camera strap holder here, and I attached the Peak Design handle right here. So this makes it much easier to be able to go, oh, I can slide my hand in here, and if I accidentally drop it, I just feel safer when I'm using this. So I've started to use this more often. And then if I'm like, oh, I actually want a strap that goes around my shoulder, I love this one from Falcam. It's super simple, it's easy to use, and I put the little capture clip on the bottom. This slides right on with these mounts, and now I can wrap this around my chest and be able to carry this camera wherever I want. Maybe it's directly over me, or I go all the way through like this, and when I want to take a shot, I can easily just slide it up, pop, 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 bring it back, boom, just like that. So it has a 1/4 inch mount on the bottom, which is absolutely necessary for you to be able to add certain things like this to it. From how it feels and when I'm using it, these buttons are actually not real buttons. They only power on when the camera's on. So right now it is off. So if I try to press them, nothing will happen. This just feels really nice. There's a satisfying click. We can hear that. But these buttons don't do anything until I press this button here to power it on. So now it's booting up, it's on. And you can press it once to kind of power it off. It shows you the battery. If you want to fully power it off, you press and hold, and then it entirely shuts down. And then it takes a second to boot up again. But now I can actually scroll through and you can feel it. I can press these buttons and it actually does something. From a usability standpoint, there is no viewfinder, so you're really just looking at the screen. If I pull this off, all you're going to see is the screen. So that's how you take the photos. The one thing I did notice, if it's bright daylight, if I'm trying to take photos from different angles, it can be a bit hard to see. I put it on max brightness, but let's say you're taking a photo from down here, up here, and your head's all the way down here. It's kind of hard to be like, oh, can I see the viewfinder? So that's just one thing to keep in mind is there's no flexible screen and there's no viewfinder to be able to easily see in bright daylight. But overall, from a perspective of being able to snap quick photos, cool photos, and stand out, that's what I really like about the Sigma BF. One other thing that I love that it doesn't have is an app. So from a software perspective, I have a Leica, if you didn't know. So I actually use the Leica Q343. It's one of my favorite cameras, and they're pretty close in terms of size. This is the 43mm, 50mm, f2, f2 as well. Yeah. So they're relatively close in terms of the type of camera and type of shot you might get with it. The biggest difference is this is probably 3 times the cost of the Sigma BF. The screen can flip out like so, it pops out, and there's an EVF. I did purchase an extra attachment for the thumb, whereas the Sigma has it kind of semi built in. But the one value I like about the Leica is if you look right here, there's an app, and it'll capture the location of where I got that shot. And that's where that little icon is right there, using the Sigma app. So when I go to search photos and things like that, I like having the location. When I import it in my phone, I can search by location. That's one thing I kind of wish Sigma had, and there's no way to add the location after the fact. I could probably do it in third-party ways, but that's one downside. There's no easy way to download the photos, to add location to my photos via the Sigma camera itself. Another downside is the battery life. Although, you know, this is fully charged, the battery life does drain relatively quickly. I can get half a day. It does have a USB-C port, so as long as I bring a USB-C charger, just like I do for my phone, I can charge the camera itself too. And since there's no way to download the photos from an app, you do need to plug in a USB-C cable from here, and then you can access the photos on your phone via Lightroom or the Files app or on your Mac. So there's no SD card. You do have to plug directly into the camera. And it kind of just acts like an external hard drive, mass storage device for your phone camera where you can easily import it. Now, when it comes to the usability of the camera itself, I love that the lenses are also matching. You can use any L-mount lens, the Leica L-mount lenses, which is nice. But if you can get the lenses that match the actual camera, that's even better. And the glass is beautiful. It looks sleek. There's a silver and a black version of this. And then when it comes to taking the actual photos, let's showcase some photos that I took. I thought it's great. There's one thing that I really like about taking photos actually is, let's say I come in here, you can change the shutter speed. There are different image profile modes. There's standard, there's rich, calm, and then a whole bunch of other options. I like the teal and orange look. I also like the cine look here and the 709 in mono. So you can play with different kinds and it'll save the so what I have it set up for is it'll save the JPEG and the RAW. That way I can see that color profile. And I have a raw image if I want to edit and change it as I please. One challenge I had when I first got this was like changing the settings. It came in auto everything, which some people might love, but I didn't like, right now it's auto shutter speed, so it's on 30 seconds. And I didn't know how to change that, but I realized you just have to click into that setting and then press down arrow to change it to manual. And then from here, I can go ahead and change the shutter speed to what I want. I like to have it somewhere around here, and then I'll usually play with the ISO as needed. The aperture, you just press right. You want to go to that option, select it, and then change it. When I take photos, I personally like to keep the aperture as is for that specific type of shot. And then I like to play with the shutter speed or the ISO if needed. And these are just so far away. So if I'm playing with shutter speed and ISO, I have to do 2 clicks to be able to switch between the two. I wish you could kind of like, I don't need exposure, I'm not changing that. I wish I could remove that setting, and aperture, I'm keeping it as is. Or if I just switch on the actual lens itself, like there's no way to just quickly switch between shutter and ISO. I have to do 2 taps. If there's a way to reorganize the settings, I would have loved that. And then we have auto white balance. You can go ahead and play with the different options. Autofocus continuous, manual focus, and autofocus single. You have your aspect ratios. This is one thing I liked about the GFX 100 RF. So here you can also play with aspect ratios, and then you can either save your RAW or JPEG, or RAW and JPEG, and then lastly, how many shots you want to take. Oh, and there's also a video mode, which I didn't really use. I don't think you need a video mode, but this option is available. And what I do like is you can actually press into this to be able to see all the options that are available, and there's settings within each one. So let's say I want to go to JPEG RAW, it shows you all the specific settings, 24 megapixels, white balance, I want to play with that, shutter speed. This just lets me change between auto and non-auto. ISO, you can set if you go to auto, you can set the min and max of the auto ISO. So I like that there's a lot of customization. There's even a menu option here where I can change the screen brightness and a whole bunch of other information. Format the card, it comes with 230 gigabytes of internal storage. And then this button is to kind of power it on and off, and the play button to show your images that you've taken. There's a little speaker as well on the bottom, microphones on the top, and an easy way to just press this to swap out lenses if needed. There's the sensor, look at that beauty. You'll just line it up to put it back on. Oh, and the shutter button just feels great. You press halfway to focus and full way to take the image. Now, overall, do I want to keep this? The Leica is my favorite go-to. There's something about the images in the Leica that just stand out. They look amazing, they look stunning. I would never replace my Leica with any other camera, but the Sigma just pops. If I'm going to an event, something where maybe I want to bring a different camera that stands out, that's a good conversation starter. Still looks clean, looks cool. I can get different kinds of lenses for this, but I probably just would want to keep one at an event. but I just want to be able to capture some cool images, have a camera that stands out. I don't need the most megapixels. And this is where I bring the Sigma. I decided I'm gonna keep the body and I'm gonna get a lens that matches, maybe something different than my Leica, maybe something wider. And they're just taking forever to ship. I pre-ordered on B&H a long time ago. But thank you, Leica, for letting me borrow this lens. I'll have to return that very soon. I'm excited to keep playing with this, keep taking photos, and just using it as a great way to kind of like start conversations with people. I know that's a weird thing to say about a camera, but it's gonna be great for events to just snap photos and start conversations. Other than that, there might be some better cameras in the same price range. Or if you want to spend 3 times, 4 times the price, you can get something like a Leica. My name is Shervin. Subscribe, China Vacations. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I want to thank David for letting me borrow this lens because I had to buy a different Sigma lens, but he has a coffee shop here called the Coffee Check. So I bought some coffee and